just figured out how to blur.
Okay, hello everyone. So today is our fourth and final training to ramp up and be ready for our power hour, our simple power hour that starts on Monday. So I will be leading the simple power hour, the very first one. I'll be leading that on Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. We have someone lined up to lead every morning, Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time. And we also have a 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. So that's 5 opportunities per week to do the power hour. Now, we're going to be doing the same thing repetitively. It is a time for work. It is not a time for training. That's what this week was for, where we dedicated 4 full days, at least one training for 4 full days in order to be prepared. So you want to make sure, if you have not watched the other 3 and you're just on today, be sure you get all 4 of those watched, because we won't be training, we will be doing the actual work. The way that will work, for example, on the Monday morning when we get on at 11, from 11 to 11:15, we're going to be working on visibility. From 11:15 to 11:30, we'll be working on sharing. 11:30 to 11:45, engagement, and 11:45 to noon will be what we're going to work on today, which is follow-up. So just know you're going to get on, you're going to be laser focused, and you're going to do the work, okay? But it won't be a training time. If you do happen to have a question, and let me also say it'll be the same thing on Tuesday, but the times, of course, will be different because that's 7:30 to 8:30 Central Time. So if you do have a question, those will all be live in Team Tiny Pants Builders. They won't be on a Zoom like this week has been. It'll be live on Team Tiny Pants Builders. So if you do have a question, you can drop it in the comments, and then when it's over, we'll come back and answer. We won't be answering those live. We'll be focused on all doing our work and as well as the facilitator, but then we will make sure that we get those answered. So for example, if you have a question while I'm leading or facilitating that on Monday, then I'll be checking back to make sure that I get your question answered. Okay. So just be aware, have your sheet printed out and ready to go on Monday, because what you'll be doing after you've done the V for visibility, you're going to check that off or circle it in. And when you've done your post, the sharing, you'll either check off or circle the S and fill that in. You'll do that for engagement, for follow-up, and then the last one is G for growth, and we'll talk a little bit more like that on that one later. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start element 4, and this is about follow-up. So you're going to have 15 minutes each time you do a power hour to do your follow-up. You've done all the work to get into the conversations with your audience. Those first 3 steps have to be in order. You can't skip them. And that will help you to get into those conversations. You're going to do that work. And now you're at the part that the next step is follow-up. You're going to follow up with those who have shown direct interest in your product or business opportunity. Now, direct interest doesn't mean, oh, they liked my comment. Okay. That just means that there's some potential there, that their eyeballs are on your content, right? But direct interest is where they say, hey, tell me a little bit more about those essential fatty acids that you mentioned, or hey, tell me a little bit more about how you're getting a full night's sleep, or hey, tell me a little bit more about how you're working all day on the back porch instead of having to drive into an office. That is direct interest. Okay. It's direct interest. They're asking a specific question. They want more information about something specific that they have seen in your content or in your engagement. Okay, over time, y'all, this is going to become more and more efficient. And dare I even say easier over time. I think we can safely say easier because you are going to start to learn and develop more skills. And the more you do something, the easier it gets, right? So more efficient over time. You're already in conversations. Your content is helping them feel like they know you, they like you, they trust you. You're actually answering their questions that are in their mind, their unspoken questions. You're making them aware of their pain points. They're open to the possibility of purchasing from you, or they're entertaining joining your team. So y'all, it's working great. Now what? Okay, now we're going to talk about how you do the follow-up. So let's just say in a scenario that you're doing all of these things and someone says, hey, I'm really interested. Do you have a website or a link that I can look at? Okay, they even ask for your link. No, you're not going to just send them your link. No, you are going to, are you ready for it? Write this down. You're not going to get overly excited like, oh, I'm about to make a sale. What you're going to do is you're going to ask questions. Okay. They have been looking at your things. You've been providing information. But at this point, even if they ask for your link, you are going to ask questions. Asking questions is the best thing that you can do, the very best. You have to still find out why they are interested. And I want you to ask questions. This is something that I learned from my training through Kristen Boss. What about my post piqued your interest? What really spoke to you? You need to ask those questions. You need to know this. And one of my favorite sayings that she has is that success leaves clues. So if you have successfully managed to get someone to reach out to you, why? What did you do that was successful? What was it about your post? What was it about your content? What spoke to them? You need to know that. Success leaves clues. You need to know what is getting people to reach out to you, because that's what this whole power hour, the simple power hour for social sellers, that's what all of this is for. This is to get people reaching out to you because they are interested in what you have to offer them. Okay. So that's why you're going to ask these questions. There's other reasons too, but one of the main things is you're going to use this to inform what's working so that you can create more content that does that very thing. Because next week, different eyeballs are going to be on your page, and you want them to also be driven to reach out because of content that works. And I would venture to guess that right now, you don't know what content is speaking to them yet. You don't yet know what's working, what's not working. So I think this is really important. But let's say that your piece of content did the job, what it was supposed to. Yay, you're going to do more of that. One of the things that they might say, if you ask them these questions, they might say, well, I've been watching you for a while. What does it mean if someone says they've been watching you for a while? It means, guess what? That your consistency paid off. If you are consistently posting, doing the things that we talked about, that we've trained on all of this week so far, that consistency is paid off. Somebody has seen you enough that they've begun to trust you, that you're going to show up. They feel like they know you. They're starting to trust you. You're answering their unspoken objections. You're answering their questions. They're getting more and more excited because your content continues and continues to speak to them. So what you're also going to find out when you ask these questions is you're going to find out whether it's pain that's making them reach out or if it's strictly desire. And then what you're going to have to do is figure out if the pain of their problem, if that over or supersedes the pain of parting with their money. Or maybe the pain of not having enough time, for example. What if they say, well, I just don't have a lot of time? Well, again, that gives you some information. You'll know how to follow up with them. And you'll also know, again, how to do content that will at some point speak to that. Your content about your product where you're nurturing people, we've talked about that, where you're nurturing, you're giving tips. You probably should speak to the issue of or answering the objection with a story of people thinking, I don't have time. I mean, I would love to get healthier, but I just don't have the time right now. Or maybe the thought is, I'd love to get healthier, but I just, I can't part with my money right now. That's not going to be true. And let me tell you why I think that's not true. Because one of my prospects that reached out to me, this was I think it was the end of June. She and her husband, the two of them together, they're spending $1,400 a month on a weight loss solution between the two of them. So for me to still believe that the reason she hadn't yet bought for me is that she can't afford it, that's no longer a valid reason. Because again, she and her husband, $1,400 a month, right? So she is willing to part with her money because the pain of what she wants or the desire for what she wants is greater than the money that she is parting with in order to have that solution, right? So that informs what I need to know about her, right? So how much desire do they actually have? Is it enough for them to part with their money? Are they uncomfortable enough? And that's why asking these questions that we talked about, even if they say, hey, do you have a website or do you have a link that I can order with? You have to take a breath and not immediately assume they're going to buy right now. And you know what? Even if they were, it's still good for you to ask questions because you're going to learn something that's going to help you. But you know what? How many of us have thought, oh, somebody's going to buy it? We've sent the link out. I can tell you right now of a certain person on my team that we have this conversation sometimes. Well, what about such and such? Well, I sent her a link. She said she was going to order and she didn't. Well, then we're in a position where all we can do is we can just keep following up, but we really don't have new information. We have to have the information, and it will help us to be more efficient closing those sales or converting them to customers when we do actually ask the questions and know the answers. And then what we're going to talk about next, then we are going to talk about how to go ahead and get those converted. So this is something that I love. I love this part where they're asking questions and where they ask for something and you're asking questions. And then you can say to them, great. I'm so excited that you are interested in, don't say the Gut Collective. No, never. I'm so excited that you are interested in getting rid of that bloat. And that you're interested in better digestion and a healthier gut microbiome. You see how you say that you're glad they're interested in the solution, not the name of our product. That doesn't mean anything, okay? But I love this part. And then you can say, do you have 10 minutes to chat so I can answer some of your questions and see if this is a good fit? Love, love, love this, because this means that you're putting them in control. They're going to be more comfortable pulling the trigger and buying when they're in control, and you're just available there to answer questions and help them in the process. So you're going to find out if it's desire or if it's pain. You're going to write that down. You're going to see patterns develop, and then you'll use those desires or pain points from your engaged audience in your conversations to help craft more of your content, to know what particularly, maybe what objections they have, so you can formulate your words as you speak to them in a way that it answers those even before they ask. I gave an example a couple of days ago about a house with a swimming pool. We may all assume that that's a benefit. Oh, the house has a swimming pool. But if it's a person that's had some kind of traumatic situation with the swimming pool, that's not a benefit for them. So it would be helpful, instead of just assuming that something's a benefit because we think it is, what if you were to say in this scenario, so tell me what you like about what you envision or you like about spending time outdoors. Let them talk, let them talk. Well, how do you feel about a pool? Let them talk, let them tell you. And then guess what? You will know whether you should mention and show them houses that have a pool. Does this all make sense? I think this is all making sense. Okay, y'all are shaking your head. So that's really, really good. Okay. So when you talk to them in your time that you're talking with them in conversation and you're getting ready and now y'all are talking because they are directly interested. When you do that and you're answering questions for them, and a lot of times this happens in the fall, of course, keep it very simple. If there are too many options, our brain shuts off. Okay. If there's too many options, our brain will shut off. Okay. You're going to have to keep it very simple. You also, when you do this for a while, I'm already starting to do this. Like when I'm talking to people in my mind, I'm already kind of getting to know them too. So I'm like, oh, I know she always comments about the post where I'm talking about energy. So, you'll start to kind of do those things. But again, too many options is going to make our brain shut off. So keep it really simple. A great question that you can ask when you're answering questions, which I'm hoping you can get into a conversation, but maybe you can't. And for those of you who are new, do not be afraid of a three-way chat. Three-way chats are fabulous when you're new. This is how I learned. This is how most people learn, because what you do in that scenario, and nobody's going to mind, if you were talking to somebody, member services, maybe you're talking to Singular member services, and they don't have the answer, and they say, you know what, that's a really good question. Do you mind if I put you on hold for a minute so that I can find that answer for you? None of us mind. That's what they're supposed to do. You want the right answer. So if they have to put you on hold for a minute to get that answer, that's okay. So you can do that as well in a three-way chat. You can say, you know what, I'm still fairly new at this, or you know what, that's a great question, and I want to make sure I have the right answer for you. So do you mind if I reach out and I pull into this chat one of my friends that I know she's had great results with our energy products, and I happen to know that she's taking that probiotic. So do you mind if I just pull her in? She can help me. So one of the best things that can do for you is not only do I think it's going to be plenty natural, and that's a good way to bring people in, but also when they do later on, hopefully consider becoming a partner themselves, they're going to go, that was easy. I mean, I don't have to know everything, because if there's something I don't know, you just bring somebody in with you. So don't be afraid of the three-way chat. Okay. But one of the great things that you can do when you're finished with answering those questions is you can say, is this the right time for you to get started? That is a very easy way to give them a call to action by asking that question. Is this the right time for you to get started? And then if it's not, you can find out why. In fact, I even have a picture. Again, I keep telling y'all this because I want to give credit where credit is due. I have been training with Kristen Boss. It's been fabulous. I've learned so much. A lot of that is the stuff that, I'm able to pass on to you because I've learned. So she shows this little diagram of when you ask someone, are you ready to get started? If the answer is yes, then what you can do at that point is you can say, great, do you have 5 minutes? I want to make sure I'm available for questions while you're purchasing. And if they say yes, then you send the link, you get on with them, or you wait, they become a customer. But if they say, well, you know what, I can't right now, I got to go pick my daughter up from school or whatever, you can say, great, well, we can do it tonight. So will you just ping me when you have, 5 to 10 minutes so I can send you the link to order and I can help you out? What time's good for you? And you agree upon a time. Once you agree upon a time and you talk, say it again. So are you ready to get started? Or, is this, whatever. And then at that point, if they're not, what they're going to say is, well, I need to think about it, or, well, I need to talk to my husband, or whatever. If at that point, they still have objections, and you need to know that. You don't want them to just have your link out there and you're over here twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out why they haven't bought yet, right? So if they say, well, I need to think about it, then you would answer, are there any questions that I didn't answer? And you can kind of ask them questions. Remember, y'all, you're not pressuring them at all. Your goal is not to pressure them into making a sale or buying something they're not ready to buy, but you do want to be in that conversation and ask the questions so that they can share with you their objections and you have the opportunity to speak into those. But if, for example, they tell you, oh, not right now, then what you can say, and y'all, this has been so good for me. I want you to hear this. If someone tells you not right now, or like yesterday, someone told me, well, I can't purchase right now. I want to, I'm ready, but we're going to have to buy our son a car and get him insurance. And so, right now I feel like I don't need to spend any money on me. I've got to take care of this expense that came up. Great. Would you like me to keep you informed of any future promotions that we have or ways that you might be able to save in the future? Would you like me to check back with you, in a month? Let them say yes. If they say yes, they go on your follow-up list. If they say no, guess what you're going to do? Move along. If someone doesn't even want you to follow up with them, you can just move along. Now, that does not mean that you stop engaging with them. You go back to the stuff before where you go to their page, you comment, you're talking there. One of the things that we have heard over and over is that what gives the social selling industry a bad name and icky. Is it's like, oh, you're not going to buy with me? Well, I'm not going to have anything to do with you anymore. No, we're going to continue to engage with them. We are going to continue to be in conversation. We're going to continue that. But what I'm saying is you're not going to have them on your follow-up list if they tell you no, that you can't. But here's the beauty of this. Here's the beauty of this. If they don't buy, you've got some options, right? If they don't buy when you're talking to them, like I said, keep it simple. And if it's not the right time for them and they don't buy, you could say, I understand that. That's great. But I am just curious, what prevented you from joining? Is there anything I could have done differently? Don't be afraid to ask that. The sale's over at that point, maybe. Anyway, don't be afraid to ask. That's going to help leave you those clues for success. Ask them what prevented them from joining. They may say, well, I didn't understand all the options that you offered, or, well, I didn't understand that it was going to be a bunch of pills and I can't swallow pills. And in that case, you could say, well, you know what? I am so glad that you shared that with me, because we do have, probably half of our products that aren't pills, that are powders that we could help you with. Would that make a difference? I mean, there's things that you can do, but ask the questions. And if they don't buy, y'all, it's okay. Like I said yesterday, Russ Fletcher used to always tell us, we're either winning or we're learning. So it's okay if they don't buy. There's billions of people on the planet, okay? So you're getting better. You're learning how to speak to objections. They're either going to say yes, no, or not right now. And you're going to know what to do in each of those situations. But when you say to them, would you like me to keep you informed of future promos or ways that you might be able to save in the future? And if they say yes, they go on your follow-up list. You keep engaging with them with the things we've talked about through your visibility on your page, through content, through engagement with them. You continue to do that. And when it is time to follow up with them, because you've got their permission, you don't feel crummy about it, right? So you've got a list of people that have given you permission to follow up. And that makes all the difference in the world, okay? You've got that, in your back pocket, that they have given you permission. So you can say, with your permission, I'll follow up with you, once a month, or with your permission, I'll follow up the next time our products that help you to get rid of the bloat and to help you to have better digestion, or, such and such, whatever our probiotic goes on sale, or, whatever it might be. Then you can ask them, are you still, when you do follow up, are you still interested in, and again, you don't say, are you still interested in the Gut Collective plus GLP-X? Are you still interested in losing weight, working on your digestion, being able to sleep better at night, hair, skin, and nail, whatever the benefits were that were important to them. When you ask them, you're going to say, "Are you still interested in?" And then you'll hit the benefit, right? Okay. So who do we follow up with? People that have provided direct interest, or people who said not right now, or people who said I've got to talk to my husband, or whomever those people are, that that they have shown direct interest and they are still on your hot list, if you will. Those are the people that you follow up with. Who do you not follow up with? Someone who said no. Then you're just going to kind of keep engaging, but you're not going to follow up with someone that's already told you no. And you're not going to follow up with people that have told you, not right now. You're going to do the engagement and the visibility, and you're going to continue to sell them through your content. So the people you're following up with is going to be a very specific list of people. And then the people you're not following up with are the people that, as you've talked with them, hey, you know what? You may decide, oh my gosh, this person, all they did is bellyache the whole time and, talk about whatever. You may decide you don't want them on your team. So move on along, right? Okay, we've talked about who to follow up with, who not to follow up with. We've talked about doing three-way chats. Let's talk about how often you would follow up. It's going to depend on the conversation. If they have given you permission to follow up and you said to them that you would follow up, once a month or whatever, put it in your Teamsy at that point and do that. Or put it on the back of your checklist that we have for everybody that we want you to use, so we can track your consistency and what you're doing consistent. I want to remind y'all again, if you don't do anything today, you're going to put an X by that day. That day's over. You can't go back. That's the only way that you're going to know which things you're consistent in and which things you aren't. And that'll be pretty easy for you to be able to tell. So let's talk, just to end this, about tracking. So one of the best things that ever happened to me is when I now understand and was educated on the fact, and I just had it wrong, that you do not have to track everybody you're in a conversation with. Okay. You were only tracking the people that you need to follow up with. Okay. Now, that's all I'm doing, at least. Now, am I writing down names and paying attention to who's engaging on my post? I absolutely am, for the purpose that I go to their page and I'm asking questions and we're having a conversation, or I'm moving a conversation and I'm saying specific things in direct messaging where it's just one-on-one there, or I'm having a conversation with them in where they comment on my stuff. So remember, we're still doing that, and you'll write those down for the purpose of knowing during the visibility or the engagement piece who you're going to be talking to. But as far as who you're going to follow up with specifically, those are only going in Teamsy if you have a specific reason to follow up with them because you were in a conversation that they've directly shown interest in your product or in your business opportunity. Those are the ones that you track. No more trying to track 30, 40 people that liked or commented on your engagement post because you don't want to forget to come back to them. Just, jot down the ones that you want to follow up with. Sorry, I didn't mean to say follow up with. The ones that you want to engage with, the ones that you want to go and do the visibility piece. And then remember, your content is going to do a lot of this for you. The goal of this is to be in more conversations, because if you are in 100 conversations, you may get 10 orders. But if you're in 200 conversations, there's a multiplying effect. And also, you're going to get better if you're in 200 conversations than if you're in just 100. There's a compounding effect, and you may have 30 new customers. So you're going to track those that you follow up with for the purpose of becoming your new customers or your new partners. That's it. Lots of information, but y'all, we have gone through all 4 pieces of the Power Hour. So if you've watched all 4, you're ready. And we start on Monday. I hope you're excited. this is going to be a way for you to talk to more people. And in order to grow your business, you have to talk to more people. So I thank y'all so much. Before you hop off, let me look real quick and see what, if any questions. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Cheryl. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Y'all hang tight just for a second. Thank you, Delphi. Y'all hang tight just for a second.